Hey, this is Toe2 Bravo, and we're just going to do another quick update video on our SIG P365. I just released a range video with the SIG P365 the other day, where we put another 250 rounds through the pistol. This brings us well over 1,000 rounds through our pistol year to date, and I've taken it apart in a previous video to document the wear on this, being that there's so much talk about the SIG P365s and the problems that some folks are having with their particular pistols. I thought that each time I get a couple hundred rounds through it, I'll tear it apart and we'll take a look at some of the wear points. So the first thing that you can see here is we've already disassembled it, and I've gone through and I've taken some using my handy dandy little magnification glass here. This is a Brookstone 15 power magnifying glass from Japan, and I've gone through and I've taken some photos of some of the wear points that I thought were interesting, or some of the things that kind of jumped out at me. And one of the first things you'll see here is I'm going to go ahead and talk about the firing pin here, and then I'll insert some photos. But you can't see it from where you're at now, but I'll insert the photos next, but I'll talk about it first. Is on the very tip of the firing pin here. There's no damage, there's no breaking, there's no cracks, there's no bending of the firing pin, and I believe this is the third different type of firing pin that they've put in the SIGs, and I won't say generation because that caused quite a bit of a ruckus, but this is the third different design type of firing pin that they've used in the SIG P365, and there's some videos out there explaining the differences between the firing pins. I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, you can see some brass, residual brass on the very tip of this from the drag of the firing pin on the casing, on the shell casing, and it's predominantly on one side of the firing pin, and I'll insert some photos and show you that here momentarily. The next thing that we'll talk about is we'll just zoom in on some of the wear we have here on the ramp, the feed ramp right here, and some of the wear on the face here of the slide. We'll insert some photos of that, but overall there's nothing that really jumps out at me that's abnormal wear on the firearm. I did take some additional photos of the barrel. The barrel doesn't show any excessive wear at all. Top of the barrel looks pretty good. I've also have some magnification shots of the inside of the barrel here from this angle, and you can see some residue powder. I'll insert that. And then I have some shots of the rifling from the business end of the barrel. But overall, the barrel looks like it's in fantastic condition. The frame, I had nothing that that stuck out as odd or overworn or anything of that nature on the frame. The status of the frame looks to be just about, besides a lot of carbon wear here, or carbon buildup. There's really nothing that really jumps out. The frame's held up extremely well, as the whole firearm has. Really, there's nothing of any real substance to speak about. The top of the frame, the finish, is all held up very well to both daily carry and otherwise. It's held up very well. Like I said, we're over 1,000 rounds through this. We've had no issues. It's extremely accurate. You know, you saw that from the previous video. We did quite a bit of shooting, and she's extremely accurate. Overall, the wear is good. The condition of the pistol is fantastic, and really there's nothing to be concerned about so far. Everything has functioned as you would expect it to on my SIG P365. And last but not least, we have the trigger group out, and I just looked over it with the magnifying glass here, and there was nothing that jumps out there either. So overall, with the exception of seeing the brass build up on the tip of the firing pin, that's it. Everything else has maintained. Overall, it's done fantastic, and I continue to carry it every day. So we will go ahead and reassemble. Alright, to reassemble, you just take your trigger group assembly, put it nose and trigger in first, seat it in, and there you have it. Take your pin, which is a rear pin, and we tap it on home. We ensure that it is evenly seated, and it is. So now our trigger mechanism is firmly and securely in place. We then follow that up with our slide, and we'll start here. And yeah, we did that backwards, didn't we? Or did we do it right? No, we did it right. So it goes like that. Firing pin, striker, and our back plate. We will need something a little thicker to our back plate. Slides into place, and that looks good. Followed by our barrel and our spring. Looks good. Back onto our frame. And functions checks good. So there you have her, fully assembled and inspected. About 1,000 rounds in. So here we are, guys. We will wrap up this video, just kind of for your own information. Everything's going well with it. SIG P365, 12 round magazine. And this is Toe 2 Bravo. Until I see you at the range again, thanks for watching.